here we go again. Just with the BeerSmith 3 again, I've had a few questions. Get it started. Someone spotted that there's a new Robobrew profile in the equipment. You can find these in the profiles, of course, equipment. And it was this one here. And this was the one created from Brian from Short Circuit Brewers. Now, this is wrong, especially for Australian brewers. It might be okay for the US brewers, I don't know. I've never used the Robobrew with 120 volts. But I know, and I'll show you in a second, that it doesn't work with my recipes and what I've been getting anyway. So we'll just start with a basic recipe. So what I wanted to show was I've been doing some test brewing, which means what I've been doing is have the same grain bill for those 3 brews, and it was also the same grain brew for the Hop Hog. So I've done 4 brews with their same grain bill. This darker one here, I added some dark grains at the end. But from this grain bill, my measured OGs, the dark one was 051. The third one was 050. And the first one was 051. So I sort of know that via these ingredients, I should be getting about 1050. So I've tweaked up a new profile of my own. People have looked at my old profile because I made it originally for version 1, tweaked it for version 2, and I haven't touched it for the version 3 Robobrew because it's been working fine. But people have looked at why I've got these dead spaces and things that don't really exist anymore. But it was all about, because the profile still worked, I didn't change it. So what I've done is I've tweaked up this new profile so it might make more sense when people look at it, which is this one here. I've got rid of the dead spaces, the boil offs a touch lower. But anyway, if you want to try and have a look and understand it, that's up to you. But this is more for beginners. I have put a boil elevation of 15 feet because we're not very high up the above water level here. And I've put Whirlpool time in because I always use Whirlpool. If you don't use Whirlpool ever with your hop steeps, or even if it takes a long time for you to chill your beer to get it underneath that 80 degrees Celsius, you can turn it off here. If you chill immediately, like you have a nice immersion chiller, and you just chill your wort really, really quickly, then you can turn it off. If not, you can add a little bit of time here. Or if if you're whirlpooling, or if you're doing a 30-minute whirlpool time, you can bump it up here. Anyway, I'm going to leave that on for now anyway. So we'll go back to this recipe. I'll just copy over the main ingredients, the grain, the yeast, and the first edition hops. They're just Whirlpool. The first edition of hops. So you can copy if you just Control and C on that. Hang on, we'll start a new recipe. Test 4. I'll just paste those ingredients in, Control V. So we'll choose my new profile, which is Robobrew 218. And this warning will pop up. That's simply saying equipment mismatch warning. Your type of equipment you selected does not match your recipe type. That's because we're brewing all grain. It says extract up here. So we just switch that to all grain. By the way, I think you can change that. If you go to options, yeah, and you can write my name in there, and I can change that to all grain, and I can change that to my Robobrew profile. Every time you open up BeerSmith now, that's what it'll load as default. But anyway, back to it. And I'll choose a mash profile. Now, I've always just used the one that I gave to everyone and just said go in and change the temperature, because that's all you have to do. That's the only difference really between the main difference between the light body, medium body, and full body. But I've to make it simpler for people, I've made the 3. So we'll choose my mash profile, which you can also do down the bottom of the screen here. And you'll see that we're about the 1049. I'll just put that closer to the style of the beer. And I've set the brew house efficiency to 78. Now, I usually get 80, but some people will get lower due to their crush or to whatever. So if I put that to the 80, which I usually get, I'm up to my 1050, which is what I've been getting in practice. And that's all that matters. It's what you've actually been getting. This is lower here now. It doesn't suit the style because I haven't put in my Whirlpool hops. That's all. But that's what I've been getting. I can go to my mash, and I'm sparging with just over, nearly 19 litres. I mean, mashing in with nearly 19 litres and sparging with nearly 15 litres, which is about right. Okay, so now I've shown you that. We'll go back and we'll swap it over to the new one that comes with BeerSmith 3, the new Robo profile that was done by Brian. You can already see that it's more for 19 litre batches or 5 gallon batches. But that doesn't really matter. It looks bigger down here, but if we put this up to our batch size of 23, what I had in mind, we're way down here at 45. So we'll bump the efficiency up to what I get. And so we get closer there at 1050, which is right. But then if we go into the mash and we whack in Brian's, where is it? Robobrew mash sparge medium body. We've still got it there. But we can see in the mash here, we've got 16.5 litres mashing, which would be too small in my opinion. That'd be a very thick mash in the Robobrew. And we're only sparging with another, not even 16 litres. So the pre-boil volume is only 27.59. And if we get the normal boil off, which we do in Australia, which is a lot larger than they do in the US, that's not going to be enough water. We're not going to get the volume out of that. It's just a little bit too small. Because I think if you look into his profile, oops, I didn't mean to save it. If you look into his profile, the boil off's only 2.65 litres, and I know for a fact that I get way more than that. And that's got to be the 120 volt thing. I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure that it would be right, because they'd get less boil off, because they don't get quite a good as boil. Now, of course, you can change all of this. You can change his, you can change mine, and adjust it for yourself. So if I go back to my profile, and one of my my mash, you can see it's a lot closer to what we'll actually need and what the water I use. Now the only problem I've seen here, and I think I don't quite understand why it's doing it. The mash grain weight here is 4.64 kilograms. Now the grain absorption is saying it's more than the grain, which is a little weird. I don't. And if you go into your options for your grain absorption, which is in options and advanced, so the grain absorption here is less than 1. So you shouldn't be getting more more water absorption than what you have grain. Now the Robobrew is closer to Brew in the bag, so it should really probably be about 0.6 or 7, but the amount's minimal. Like if you wanted to change, you could probably change that to 0.7. It tells you here what to change it back to if you forget, or if you're going to use your esky, you might have to change it back. You know, or a normal mash tun. And there, the grain absorption is much closer there to probably what is real. Hang on, we'll go back to the design. Maybe that was too low. Yeah, we need a bit more than that. Sorry about that. Where did I change it? Options. That was way too low. Advanced. We'll bump that. Well, we actually might put it back to the 0.96 and see if that updates. No, it's gone over again. There's probably something there that I don't quite understand or know why that happens. Maybe if we shove that back to 0.9. That's probably getting closer. If I know if I switch that to 18, just ignore me for a second. It just makes the maths easier. And that's much closer to what I'll use. I know I use 18 litres and 15, and sometimes I chuck a little bit more in. But that's much closer to a reality, to what I'm getting. And these are all the tweaks you can make. I used to have it set up for Brew in the bag, my mash profiles, but things have changed. And when I set it up for Brew in the bag, I wasn't getting the sparge amount down here, and it was just confusing people, which I'm probably doing now. Anyway, all I'm saying is I'll upload these new profiles, and if you aren't getting the same numbers I am, which is possible, you can keep all the water amounts and everything are going to be the same, and you can just adjust your efficiency here. So say you've brewed this a couple of times and you're under, or even if you brew it once and say you're 2 points under and everything went smoothly in your brew, you might drop this to 76. Did that change anything? Yeah, dropped it down, or you might change it to 75. 47. The next time you brew it, have a look. You might get it. You might be spot on, or you might be up a little bit, and you can just play around to what you usually get. I know I'm usually at 80, and I think the one Brian had was started at 72. But it's no drama, and it doesn't really mean anything. As long as you're getting close to one of these numbers, don't stress about efficiency numbers, because it's all so different in everybody's brew system. And like your brew house efficiency really should include your fermenter, and it depends on your style of fermenter, the size of your fermenter, where your tap is, if you tip it up at the end. There's so many different variables. Don't worry too much. Like if you're 2 points out to me all the time, if you use my recipes, that's fine. It's really nothing to worry about, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your system. But as long as you can get consistency, that's all you're after. So anyway, to quickly get back on track, all I was saying is if you download BeerSmith 3 and you see their new profile, you're either going to fiddle with it a lot. For Australian brewing, in the US you might be fine. I don't know, I can't test it. But for Australian brewing, you're going to have to tweak it a lot. And I'm not saying you won't have to tweak mine, because mine brews perfectly for me at the moment. All the numbers are on just about spot on. You know, sometimes I'm up one, sometimes I'm down a point. That's just life. You can't be perfect all the time. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say, really. So I hope that's helped people. And I'll just show, it was Andrew that noticed, Andrew Lambert. Hope you don't mind me mentioning your name, that noticed that it was in there, the profile. I didn't notice it. People have been asking me whether they should upgrade. That's totally up to you. If there's no real need, if you're happy with BeerSmith 2, unless you want to put your meads and your ciders in. As I said, they've added that, and the mash pH, making it a little bit easier to do. It was a bit of a muck around in BeerSmith 2. It's a bit easier to just put them in your recipe. The salts and things. Whether it's accurate or not, I don't know. I'll have to test that in practice. Well, it's up to you. I wouldn't say yes, go out and buy it, you need it, because if you've got BeerSmith 2 and all your recipes are fine and everything's working, then why change? I'll also ask, people have been telling me, people have been commenting on the video I did yesterday saying they use all different software, and that's great. If you want me to test it out and you think it's better, let me know and I'll have a look, and I might do a quick video and compare and see how easy it is for me to set up. I don't have Apple devices. There's already been a couple suggested that were just for iOS, and I don't have that, so I'd much rather do it on my PC. I'm a bit old school. Alright. Anyway, I'll get these profiles up onto Cellar Dweller. It's just the easiest place for me to put them. I don't really know where else I can put them. And if you want them, you can go and have a look. Alright, cheers.